Hey, it's Sarah with Loaves and Dishes, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these lemon poppy seed muffins. Before we get into today's video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so that you'll be notified when we upload. Okay, so muffins are super easy to make. I've got a stick of melted butter. I'm going to add some sugar. I'm going to add, so it's 1 cup of sugar. I'm using a 1/4 cup measuring cup. That's why it's taking so long. I add 2 eggs, and ideally you want your eggs to be room temperature if you're going to be baking. You would want all of your ingredients to be room temperature if you're baking something. However, I just pulled these eggs out of the fridge. It's not going to hurt anything. But if you want to be real fancy, everything should be room temperature. I added some eggs, I added some vanilla. I'm adding the juice and zest of 2 lemons. If you wanted a stronger lemon flavor, you could add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I think these lemons, I got me close, but probably not quite. Maybe just a little shy of a 1/4 cup because they were pretty juicy lemons, but. And when you're squeezing this, you want to make sure that you're not getting any seeds. That's why I'm using my juicer and not just squeezing directly over the bowl. If I'm not as worried about seeds, I will just squeeze the lemon with my hand because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I get more out with my hand. I don't know. Anyways, but you don't want any lemon seeds in your muffins. That would be unfortunate. So that was all my wet ingredients. So now I'm adding my dry ingredients. I'm adding 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And just, if you watch our videos a lot and you see us use flour, unless we specify otherwise, I'm most likely using all-purpose flour. I think I might have a bag of bread flour, but I have used it once. Anyways, you're going to add some baking soda and some baking powder. And then I added 2 tablespoons of poppy seeds, and I felt like that was enough for me. If you wanted to add more, you absolutely could. And if you wanted to add less, you could. I wouldn't go less than a tablespoon though. But that's just me. And then I'm just mixing this all together. I didn't do any mixing before this one mix. And I think that's the great thing about muffins is that they're not, it's like baking, but they're not super fussy. Like you don't have to, mix everything up and brown the butter and, you can do all of that stuff if you want, but you don't have to because it's a muffin. Also, these muffins would be really good with a little icing on top. So if you wanted to make like a little powdered sugar icing, that would be really great. Just some powdered sugar and some milk and some vanilla. That's all it would take. And the other thing with muffins is you just mix them until they're mixed up. Like you don't have to do any extra mixing or anything. Okay, so I have these cupcake papers that I'm using. And then I also saw somebody on the internet make a cupcake paper with parchment paper. So I'm going to attempt to do this. It didn't work very well, but you just cut a square and you want to make sure that it's like the right size for your hole. So you kind of have to like hold it over and then you cut 2 like cuts on either side, and so that it makes like an unfolded box sort of, and then you kind of push it down in there and the paper kind of wraps around itself. It's a little complicated and it wasn't very easy, but if you don't have any cupcake papers and you're in a pinch and you have parchment paper, that is something that you could do. It might be a little fussy, but it'll work. And now I am scooping my mixture into the cupcake papers. Mine was a little bit thicker because I let it sit while I was messing around with that parchment paper. And if you bake a lot, you probably already know this, but when you put flour in something, it takes a little bit of time for the flour to absorb the liquid. So if you're baking something and your mixture is a little bit too runny, just let it sit for 20 minutes and come back and it won't be runny anymore because the flour will have absorbed the liquid. It's kind of wild, to be honest. But I've had to learn that about baking cookies, that you have to let the cookies sit for about 20 minutes after you get everything mixed up, and then they will be cookie consistency. I think that's kind of the secret for cookies. So anyways, I'm just scooping this out into these tins. I just want them to be pretty even because you want the muffins to be about the same size so that they bake evenly. And they were kind of really sticking to my scooper. And then you're going to bake those for 400 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. And there they are all done. And I pulled the one out that had the special wrapper so that you could kind of see it a little bit better. But there they are. They're absolutely delicious and so easy to make. If you want to see more recipes, be sure to check out Loaves and Dishes, and thanks for watching.